Well, they're all scared of turning off the spigot. These companies make money. Look what CNN did. They have Scott Jennings because they destroyed their credibility and their ratings by chasing after the anti-Trump narrative to maximize views. I mean, even right now, I'll say this: I don't want to get into the full thing. We may actually do a culture war debate on the Charlie Kirk conspiracy theories. But there are a bunch of channels that I've seen with very small followings that are getting millions of views by pushing all of these crazy conspiracy theories about the Charlie Kirk assassination. That will haunt you because you are excising yourself from what I would describe as the majority market. I'm being very nice in how I describe this. CNN effectively did this when they said we're only going to target Trump, and so did Jimmy Kimmel, and that's why his ratings are bad. Down 43% a month. You know, we were talking about this on the Piers Morgan thing when I think it was who Fallon had on Greg Gutfeld. Mm-hmm. Apparently the ratings were through the roof.
Oh, yeah. It was like one of his biggest shows in years.
Because regular people were like, I can watch this.
Yep.
But when they decide to be activists, pandering to activists, nobody watches. Perhaps this is Jimmy Kimmel's desperate bid. He's going to come back out tonight and say, I think we've been way too divisive. I think we've been way too hard on our brothers and sisters. And I think I learned something from this past week. We have to be friends. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, maybe I can try and win a market back. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it's the highest probabilities of what's going to happen. I actually think if someone asked me to put money down, I'd put money down that he's going to criticize MAGA. He's going to offer up a non-apology apology where he says, I could have been more clear. And the joke was ill-timed. Yeah. But MAGA twisted my words, something like that, where it's going to be like a lukewarm C- thing that doesn't really apologize.
Well, and even if he does come out and like grovel or whatever, Gavin Newsom's the guest, so they're going to bring him on the panel.
Is that confirmed?
I believe so. Yeah,
I couldn't find that, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, at least that's the discussion on Twitter, and that's what I've seen from a few places. So it's like if that's the case.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Sarah McLachlan.
Oh, Sarah McLachlan. I think she's the musical guest tonight.
Oh, is she?
In the arms of an angel.
I saw a lot of people saying, no, it is confirmed, not correct. Newsom will not be on Kimmel.
Oh, okay.
He will be on Colbert.
Oh, fantastic! All right, that's must-watch television.
Same show, right? I mean, same show.
Functionally the same.
Functionally the same, yeah. So if you need just like your brain rotted, then maybe that's a good option.
Well, Kimmel will definitely talk about cancel culture and the hypocrisy of the right. I mean, this has been a line from Obama and all these liberals over the last week, is suddenly they're concerned about freedom of speech when the last sort of 10, 15 years has been the complete reverse situation.
They'll talk about that and they won't mention what YouTube's statement was today.
I just want to stress, I mean, if that is correct, and Jimmy Kimmel opens his show by listing out people who've lost their jobs for criticizing Charlie Kirk, and then he criticizes Charlie Kirk, I am going to pull the shutters down on every building here and double up our security detail. I'm kidding, by the way. But if Jimmy Kimmel actually goes on his show and says, MAGA activists have been getting people fired from their jobs, from nurses and teachers and even me, because we don't agree. And that is wrong. And he totally frames it that way. Man, I don't know if anything could make the right riot, but maybe that would do it.
I could see Kimmel taking that direction because the thing about the left is it's such an inherent, like having left-wing positions is so inherently like gay that they need to seize every chance they can get to
literally though.
No, seriously, I'm not being facetious. It's so every time they have the chance to have like a tough guy position where they can say like, we're standing for free speech. Oh! They never let that opportunity go by. And I guarantee you Kimmel's going to try and do the tough guy thing.
Of course.
Tonight.
Right.
Guarantee it.
Let's jump to this shocking, I repeat, shocking article from The Atlantic. I can't believe I'm about to read these words from The Atlantic. Left-wing terrorism is on the rise. For the first time in more than 30 years, attacks by the far left outnumber those by the far right. I think I almost had a heart attack. And I have a strong heart.
It's incredible.
Well, we've all known this. Why are they finally admitting it?
Do you think that it's just gotten to the point where it's it's undeniable now, where their credibility is in jeopardy because they refuse to admit it?
I think, you know what I think? I think that Trump won the popular vote. I think that I'm a fan of a bunch of, I don't want to call anybody out and drag them, but there are many people across various markets, we'll call it, that are default lib, not really political. And I have seen them over the years make, ish lib normie statements about politics. But they're not really ever doing it. Like they're not actively engaged in debate. They're not attacking people. They'll just post something where they're like, hey, we shouldn't do things like this, Black Lives Matter, whatever.
Platitudes?
Yeah, like the normie-ish lib, not really paying attention. These people that I follow, they have now met me. I have met them. They are posting in defense of Charlie Kirk. They are sending me texts saying, like, right on, brother. And that gives me hope. And I think now at The Atlantic, they recognized, when you've got a professional athlete who is no longer defending the activists on the left and is now actively defending Donald Trump, there is a culture shift happening, and we want to be on the right side of history. So The Atlantic writes this. No matter how hard ideologues try to exclusively blame their political foes for acts of political violence, the truth is that violent extremists today emerge from across the political spectrum. We have studied this problem and believe that our data can help illuminate an issue too often defined by partisan finger-pointing. They're correct. As part of a study to be published this week by the Center for Strategic and International Studies, we compiled and analyzed a data set of 750 attacks and plots in the United States from 1994 to July 4th of 2025. Our research focuses only on incidents of terrorism, which we define as attacks or plots by a non-state actor attempting to achieve a political end and exert a psychological influence on a broad population. Among other details, the dataset includes the types of weapons used, the intended targets, the number of fatalities, and the ideology of the perpetrators. Oh, I guess we have to. I got to log in. We found that left-wing terrorism has increased since President Donald Trump's rise to political prominence in 2016. Indeed, 2025 marks the first time in more than 30 years that left-wing attacks outnumber those from the far right. Despite its recent increase, however, left-wing terrorism is not nearly as common today as it was in the 60s or early 70s. So it sounds like what their argument is there was a brief period with some right-wing terror, and I'm assuming a lot of that has to do with abortion clinics and things like that in the 90s.
You also had these kind of sovereign citizen people who were going and attacking kind of federal troops and FBI and things like that in the 90s. You had the Oklahoma bombing and, was it the Waco thing as well?
Yeah, but so, Waco wasn't attacking anyone. They were attacked.
Yeah.
How's the government?
Second of all, like the way that they calculate a lot of the right-wing attacks is they'll go and say there's some white nationalist that's involved in the drug trade, and he kills a guy that was involved with the drug trade that owed him money. They'll say that that's a right-wing attack or whatever, even though it's not political, it's over drugs. And the same type of thing when it deals with white nationalists in jail, because prison gangs are very common, and a lot of white dudes get into gangs when they're in prison. And if a white guy kills another white guy because of whatever prison beef they have, they'll say that that is also a political attack, even though there's no politics involved. It just so happens that these people were involved in white nationalism somehow.
I've got it. Yeah, right. And from that point, let's debunk. I can't believe I'm saying this about an article that I actually like the headline on, but I got to debunk this. They say, a major shift in politics, however, can cause the losing side to become more combative. Just as Trump's election led to a rise in left-wing violence, President Barack Obama's election corresponded with a surge in violence from the right. From 2009 to 2016, right-wing extremists were responsible for 106 terror attacks and plots, nearly double the 58 right-wing incidents that occurred in the 8 years prior. These tend to be more lethal than left-wing attacks, which generally target specific individuals, such as the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson last year, or the assassination attempt on Trump in the West Palm Beach golf course. Right-wing extremists, by contrast, are more likely to target whole groups. In the past decade, in the United States, 36 left-wing attacks have killed 13 people, whereas 152 right-wing attacks have killed 112. Full stop. You see what they're doing? They're doing the same thing everyone else does. I don't care about your nebulous right wing. White supremacists and I have almost nothing in common politically. Now, maybe they might argue for tax policy or something, but that's not what we're talking about. Charlie Kirk kicked white supremacists out of his events. So when you find some white supremacists say a right-wing extremist did this, that has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. However, when Luigi Mangione, accused of, killed Brian Thompson, the entirety of the left either defended or supported it outright. They sold merch in his honor. They dance for him. When Charlie Kirk was killed, default normie liberals posted messages saying, I get it's wrong, but Charlie was a racist, bigot, evil, and worse. Staunch liberals in the far left celebrated his death. We are not the same. Do not give me this. You cannot lump in white supremacists with run-of-the-mill mega conservatives who are probably, I got to be honest, mostly out of shape and aren't going to be able to engage in any kind of physical activity as it is. And I'm saying that somewhat facetiously as a joke, but the left should agree because that's the joke they make.
It's like lumping in Islamist terrorists with the left, which they don't do. And that's the other thing this article isn't talking about and is ignoring. And Islamist terrorism is political terrorism. You know, undoubtedly. Is it left-wing? Is it right-wing? It's neither, really. And to say that, you know, a white supremacist is right-wing, again, that's kind of controversial, right? So you can't just say... You're right. There are obviously some far-right people, though, who do attacks. Like, we can't deny that as well.
Sure.
You know, that does happen. That exists. But yeah, as you say, like the KKK, the white supremacists, and this was a huge thing back in the 50s and the 60s as well, where you had, on one side, you had the black nationalists who were causing all sorts of problems, killing people, terrorism, and so on. And also you had the KKK. And you had J. Edgar Hoover going after both groups vigorously. And like we said earlier, that's what Trump and the DOJ and should be doing now on the left. I mean, they need to stop this problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.